I thought a lot about just stopping, not making any more videos. Partly because I started a new job recently and now I'm a lot busier than I used to be. But a big part of it is just wondering whether I'm doing anybody any good. I mean, since I started my channel, I did make some progress. I got stronger and I learned some new skills at first, but it wasn't long before I started to injure my shoulders. And then I kept on injuring them until finally I needed surgery. So I have to wonder whether I'm doing anybody any good. Should I be giving people training advice? On the other hand, yeah, I've made mistakes, but I do have a lot of first-hand experience of how not to train when you get older. And I think that now I have some useful things to say about recovery. Also, I have to say, I've been touched at how many people have reached out to me to see how I'm doing and to encourage me to keep making videos. Also, weirdly, my subscriber count has almost doubled in the roughly 8 months since I stopped making videos. Go figure. So to everybody who reached out, thank you for your support. I'm going to take that as a vote of confidence and start back up again, although probably with a somewhat different emphasis. So, just a quick recap. Last December 3rd, I broke a biceps tendon. I had surgery about a month later, and in that surgery, in addition to reattaching the biceps tendon, the surgeon also re-anchored one of the rotator cuff tendons that was damaged, and also did something called a debridement, which is where they clean up, which really means cut away all of the frayed and damaged tissue on the outside of the tendons. Since the surgery, I've never had any pain from my biceps tendon, which got reattached right about here. All of the pain and difficulty that I've had in my recovery has been in my shoulder. I think that the shoulder is so complex and so prone to being unstable that anytime you have surgery in there, the recovery necessarily involves a long period of pain and instability. Not that I'm complaining. I was like 99th percentile in the speed of my recovery. My physical therapist said he'd never seen anyone recover so quickly from that kind of a surgery. 6 months after the surgery, I told my surgeon that if I was a normal person instead of a crazy workout fanatic, that I would probably consider myself completely recovered. I don't have any pain, and there's absolutely nothing I do in normal life that hurts it at all. In terms of mobility, I can't really even tell the difference between my two arms. But working out is a different story. For example, I've only started doing unassisted pull-ups in the last month. Before that, even with band assistance, going into and out of a dead hang made something in here crack or pop uncomfortably. It was way too scary to try it with my full body weight. But it has gotten steadily better. So right now I'm doing pull-ups, rows, and some very light front lever work. I also do pike push-ups, pseudo-planche push-ups, and a few other things. I discovered just a couple of weeks ago that handstands are no problem, so that's good. And I do a lot of stuff now that's more like physical therapy, tendon strengthening stuff. And I intend to keep doing that sort of thing forever. I do internal and external rotations with bands and the full can exercise. Those are classic rotator cuff strengthening exercises. I also do triceps extensions with a dumbbell. And then I do some shoulder stability exercises. Right now I'm doing Turkish get-ups, which are just awesome. And in physical therapy, I started doing these. You start from a plank and raise one arm at a time. But then I started also raising the opposite leg. And let me tell you, that starts to feel like a real calisthenics skill. It's very hard to do. To me, it seems harder to balance than a handstand. That and the Turkish get-ups are incredible shoulder stability and mobility exercises. And strangely, even though I broke my biceps tendon while juggling, the whole experience has reignited my love for juggling, which, in addition to being really fun, is a good indicator of where my shoulder is at. When I first started juggling again in April or May, I could do a normal cascade with no problem. But even small variations like this made my shoulder crack. But I've slowly increased both the amount and intensity of the juggling that I do, and my shoulder has gotten better and better. Now I can even do very fast stuff like this. My shoulder still cracks sometimes, but now it takes this kind of thing to make it crack, and it gets better all the time. Man, when I was young and healthy, it would never have occurred to me to think of juggling as something risky or dangerous. Maybe I should rename my channel Sadder But Wiser, or Older and Wiser. Older and More Fragile? Wait, no, Older and Fragiler. Anyway, I'm well on my way to recovery. I don't doubt that I'll fully recover. But of course the real question is, how do I prevent this kind of thing from happening again? I've completely changed my workout strategy. I think of what I do now almost like half normal workout and half physical therapy. I will make videos about it at some point, but I want to give it some time so I can be really confident that what I'm doing is working. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.